There. So, and then we go live on Facebook. Page.
Oh boy.
Trans Gurus. And now we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Great.
So, Dr. Bobby and I are here today. I think that Jimmy will join us a little bit later. She said she's late, but we are here and we're going to start with our little show. So the first question that I've got for everybody, and please don't be shy writing on the comments, is how was your New Year's Eve? There's nothing more important than starting the year with the right thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, I gotta see this. No,
the right foot that's how it's supposed to be, right? You have the year with the right foot, that it goes the right the whole way, all year long, right? I never noticed if I had the right or the left foot, but who cares?
Oh yeah. All right, I don't have anything there. Well, it's funny. I spent nearly all of December away from Louisville for the first Christmas in like 47 years, and so that was real different. But then I came back before New Year's, so I was here alone on New Year's, and I just really enjoy taking like spa type baths, lots of Epsom salts and bath bombs and things like that. And so I'm pretty sure I was in the tub, just soaking it all up there around midnight. So
That's nice. Sometimes you have to do something for your soul, right? So
yeah, that's all I could do. Yeah.
everything nice and everything is going right. I had a nice. I was here with a friend of mine only. But we didn't make a big party. And in our house there was some other people, which we went outside and already as well and had some fun with the other people. So. And I live in Florida, so the weather was not so bad. It was a little bit crispy, which is very nice for us.
Yeah.
And there is, fireworks, everything. So this year was pretty nice, pretty nice.
Well, I was going to ask you about fireworks. I didn't hear hardly any in my neighborhood, and I was just wondering if it was quiet. Nobody's happy. I don't know.
We had some fireworks around here in the neighborhood. There is some places here in South Florida where they've got really large fireworks, like in Miami. Delray Beach here has got lots of fireworks too, but it's impossible to go there because it's full.
Oh yeah.
So and right now it's winter time, so it's here in South Florida is the people, what do you call
Snowbirds.
snowbirds which are coming down, so they're all over the place. So you go to the supermarket and they start asking questions, like where can I find this?
You look like you know everything. Yeah.
And there was the lotto, the what do you call that, lottery, and they were asking which lottery should I do.
Oh yeah.
And I said, it's up to you. I don't know.
Oh gosh. I know.
Well,
I didn't win. That's why I'm still here tonight.
These were we've got many people here in South Florida where I live from Canada.
Yeah.
They're really nice. I always know that they are from Canada because they speak French, you see.
Yeah.
With the Canadian accent, so it's really quite clear that they are Canadians. And I mean, I've got many Canadian friends, but it's really nice to go around here and then you hear all the Canadian, all the French Canadian. It's like being abroad,
Wow. I hadn't thought about that. It's been a long time since I've been to Florida just to listen, on New Year's Eve especially. So I don't think I've ever been to Florida for Christmas, New Year's Eve, anything like that. It was always kind of a summer destination, I think.
Yeah. Well,
That's a
things are changing with you, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, it was always, between school, in school, started school. It's like, the family vacation time. So that was kind of the way Florida always was. But just that didn't have to be that way anymore. So you're right about that.
Yeah, apart from that, I've been trying to read a lot, trying to see what's going on in the world, mainly in the transgender world, which is many things are coming up. So it's probably not
Yeah,
the next ones, but
yeah.
but it's a
It's kind of
crazy.
mixed right now.
It's
There are some people that got a very clear message about this stuff needs to stop. And there were some elections, and I think that sobered up a lot of people about, can we quit focusing on what genitals are going into what bathrooms, and do something important. And uh, I but then I caught wind today that a bill had been filed uh, to prohibit diversity, inclusion, and equity kind of discussions. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's like, that somebody thinks that would be a really good law to, just do the white supremacy thing from now on.
I think people are getting a little bit fed up of this because you see there's so many issues going around, uh,
Hmm.
killings and abortion issues, and there's so many things going around, and people are talking about stuff which really not it doesn't bring anything to anybody. So I think some people are getting slightly fed up of the whole story.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happened in um, places like Ohio. They did. They had offended this huge population of women with the reproductive rights thing, and then this huge queer community with all the other stuff that was going on, and they alienated a whole lot of people with just this otherism kind of thing. It's like, oh, there's this other type of thing going on that's a big threat, menace to America, and we got it. And it's like, Pete, stop it. No, they're not a threat. Stop it. Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's what's going now. But you have to be positive, and you have to try to make your own living. I mean, here in Florida, we've got an issue because of the bathroom bills.
Uh-huh.
And it is a little bit of an issue because it's only for public buildings and for buildings which are state owned. So, but still, you never know if something could happen or not. And
Yeah.
I don't recall or any kind of transgender person which has been either arrested or forbidden to go to the restroom here in Florida because of that. I'm sure it would come in the newspapers.
Oh no. I don't
There's
know.
some other things to think about, like
Yeah, it really is.
accidents on accidents. I mean, we've got loads of accidents in the I-95 here. I mean, there's so many other things. Come on, who bloody cares about where the well are we going to make pee-pee?
Uh, you know, I it was the strangest. It was like I should try to dig up the picture before I talk about it, but 2019, was downtown Manhattan, and at Washington Square, that big memorial there at the end of Fifth Avenue, and I had to go to the bathroom. And so they have this big, city operated facility there in Washington Square. And I get up there and there's a sign on the way in. It was just the opposite of all the stuff we read. It says nobody has the right to ask you for any form of identification or medical documentation or proof of this or that or that. And if they do, they are harassing you against this city code of New York, and the punishment was for anybody that attempted to just interrupt your trip to the bathroom for any reason at all. And it's like it's hard for me to believe that that's the world we're living in, where it is so nothing uh, in New York that you can get arrested for hassling trans people, and then in the rest of it, it's like they're trying to make you scared to death to walk outside your home because you can't go to the bathroom anywhere, and it's ridiculous, and people in those very blue states just it's like, God, I'll never move my family there. I'll never locate a business there. It's like, what is going on? It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of talk about secession. Just let those states take care of themselves. They couldn't do it without the blue states. Oh, anyway.
I have to say, here it's like that uh well, I was telling before, the only buildings which have got this prohibition of transgender people going to the bathroom
Hmm.
is buildings which are owned by the state. So the only building that I usually will go and it's owned by the state is the airport. Okay.
Right, right. Yeah.
And I'm in Miami or Fort Lauderdale Airport. So, but I
Good luck enforcing it there.
people are so busy doing their own thing. Nobody has got the time. And then again, if they would stop me for whatever reason, my papers are all, up to
Oh, I
date.
know. Oh,
But
I know.
I don't carry my birth certificate with me, but it would be with
Yeah.
a
But you've got to produce that to get a passport and everything else. So,
yeah, my passport is female, my driving license is female, my birth certificate is female. So I mean, I don't know how would they do that. So I have no idea.
I
Anyway,
said, yeah,
just have to think positive and say, okay,
well,
it's another law for nothing.
yeah, it really is. And I want to, yeah, when I talk to people that are so passionate about the bathroom, it's like, what in the world do you think I'm doing in there? When I go to what do you think I am doing in there? And what they do is they just project their deepest, darkest sins on us as well. I would be a peeping Tom, it was well, that's the only reason I would be, and so they just project all of that stuff on you, like you're in there to violate something. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm just trying. I just like
I,
everybody else, get in there, do your business, wash your hands, pretend like you're washing your hands, and get out.
I've been in countries which I'm considerably more scared of going being a transgender person than here in Florida, like Qatar, which is a Muslim country, which is really
Oh,
terrible and never had any issue whatsoever. So
wow.
anyway, but
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's really crazy, but you have to think positive.
Yeah.
And so there's many, I am sure that it is always something that, it's only for a couple of months more. We are in an election year this year, and I think people do things just for the show of it and nothing else. It doesn't bring much, but makes a lot of show.
Yeah. I'm really not sure there's all that many undecided people. Really, I don't know, but
Uh,
uh,
no idea. We'll see. It will be very interesting to see what's going on at the end of the year. I'm sure it's going to be a great year. I don't know. I I had I spent some time thinking what are my goals for this year.
uh-huh.
I made my little mind map.
I wanted to ask you about that. What does that look like? And if you've referred to that a lot. Like, so what's that look like?
So it has, the different branches of the
Uh-huh.
things I do. For example, I am in the center of it, okay, because it's my mind map, of course.
Right, right. Okay.
And then I put, businesses, my businesses. What do I want to do with my businesses? Do I want to grow? Do I
Okay.
want to, I sometimes put dollar amount, sometimes I don't put dollar amount. For one of my businesses, it's very clearly the dollar amount there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then of course, but life is not only business. Uh,
Right.
I've got my personal life. What would I like to do? Would I like to have a relationship? Don't I want to have a relationship? I mean, for me, it's kind of really, I'm happy to be alone.
Hmm.
A couple of things, but I'm happy to be alone because like that, yeah, I can do whatever I want, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I spent all my life being married. I was married
Uh-huh.
with my first wife. I was married 11 years and with my second 25 years. So I've been married more than half of my life. So
Yeah.
to be a while which you are alone, why not?
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
can you can take the decisions you want. You can go on the plane where you want, and there's
That's
out, you know.
true.
But
That's
it is
true.
only one side of it. To have someone near next to you and enjoy that person is something nice too. So, there's a balance somewhere, but it's a compromise. So
Uh-huh.
is another thing. Another thing that I work a lot is on my spirituality. So, uh, you know, do I want to follow how do I want to follow my spirituality? Where do I want to go? I want to have now a little visit to a city which is here in Florida,
Hmm.
which is a very spiritual city, and I've got some invitations to go there. Funnily enough, so I'm really trying to probably not yet, not now, but in February or March, I'm going to spend a couple of days there
Oh,
to have some really completely
sure.
spiritual environment, and try to 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 do things. And then, of course, there's other things which are like, for example, I am now with LA Fitness. So I want to go, a little bit more to LA Fitness because that is
Mhm,
part of my, being fit and doing the right things.
mhm.
I think that is probably everybody in America is doing now. And like Jimmy was telling the other day, the first 2 days or 3 days of January, everybody's there and afterwards goes down.
Yeah, right, right.
But
And,
I do LA Fitness. I mean my writing as well because I write. So I'm right now on my fourth book, and to try to set goals about my fourth book. When is it going to be finished? Because I know myself. My
yeah.
first book, it was quite okay. I was quite fast.
Hmm.
The second book, I started the book and then I didn't write anything for 2 years, and then afterwards I finished the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
My third book I wrote within 1 month.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can write about 1,000 words an hour, which is not so bad. Over
You're kidding. You're right about that. Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, a book has got about 55,000 to 70,000 words. So, it can write the book quite fast. That's not the issue. But you have to be, on the mood to do it. It's not a question of, and
Yeah.
I've got times which I'm really very good at writing, and I've got
Mhm.
times that I can make, one page in 3 days, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
So it's a little bit of a thing. So this is something else that I put in my thing. You know what my what I want to do. I've got another project which has been going for quite a while, and it is my grandfather's book. My grandfather was a writer as well. It goes in the family,
oh,
and he lived in Africa.
oh my gosh.
He wrote many books, and one of the books that he wrote was called Africa Bantu. Okay, he wrote that book. He published the book in 1938. 1938. So it's going to be 100 years now.
Hmm.
And I want to rewrite the book. I
Hmm.
cannot rewrite, but put it to a. It's written in Portuguese, but I want to put in a Portuguese which is updated, and then translate it into English, and then republish the book.
Wow.
And that is a hell of a lot of work. It is.
Yeah. Portuguese, but he was living in Africa? Is-
Yeah, he was living in Angola, in Portuguese Africa.
Okay. I didn't realize that Angola was Portuguese
Yeah,
Africa.
Angola used to be it was Portuguese for over 250 years.
Well, they're the ones that started the colonialism bandwagon. I mean, they
Portuguese, big time, big time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you want to point the finger at the bad guys. They're the ones that started
Thank you.
it.
I don't know if they are big bad guys. Hi, Jimmy. But
Hi, girls. How y'all doing?
we're
Oh,
doing
good.
fine. No, but the other day I was, the slavery in Portugal
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a complicated story
Yes.
because one of the what they call the princes back in the 1400, one of the Portuguese princes was the what do you call that? The trader, the big trader for slavery from Portugal
Mhm.
in the beginning to Europe and then afterwards to South America, North America. So
Yeah.
we do have a little bit of a difficult history in that respect. And one day I was in the Virgin Islands,
Yeah.
very funny, and I was with a taxi driver, and he asked me, "Oh, where you come from?" And I was said, "I come from Portugal." He didn't talk with me anymore.
Hmm. Was it
Don't
a
talk
U.S.
about Virgin
Virgin Islands? What was it? A U.S. Virgin Islands or a British Virgin Islands?
Islands.
Okay.
Oh, so it was kind of okay. I know. How
Oh
are
my.
you doing, Jimmy? How was your start of the year? We were talking right now about about what what we thought what we're going to do in 2024, and I was talking about my examples of in my in my mind map. And
Mhm.
we're talking about this African thing because one of my goals is to republish the book of my grandfather, which was published first time in 1938. And Africa Bantu is actually a book about all the different tribes of Africa, which are, sub-Saharan Africa. That means everything which is in South of Africa.
Mhm.
And I'm working with someone I know here in Miami International University, and they're doing some research work as well in anthropology. So that would be a really beautiful anthropology book to publish, But it's really an interesting. It's actually a very interesting reading. I've read the book a couple of times because it's really and there is a mention in 1938 about transgender people, by the way,
Mhm.
and they're called two spirits, so African two spirits.
Yeah.
So it's uh,
Excellent.
it,
Excellent.
it's a very interesting book
Yeah. So
because
that's how we got on the Portugal stuff.
yeah,
So,
that's how we've got about Portugal stuff because it tells about all the tribes in Africa at the time. Africa was a continent where there was no people did not live in countries. All the countries idea came from the Europeans. They lived in tribes, and tribes, some of them were nomads, but they had their very, very special cultures and their very special rituals. And some of them are really quite interesting. It's really quite interesting. And many of them are patriarchats, and some of them are matriarchats. So very strongly with very strong queens. It's really quite incredible. It's really quite incredible.
wow.
So it's the world is a small place, but it's a very interesting place. If
Mm.
so, but you see, this is how I do my man mapping. So uh, I am in the center, and what are the different areas where do I want to go, and what are my goals, and
And that's on your computer screen when you first turn on every day. Is that where it shows up?
well, yeah, yes and no. It's on my screen. I open it every day, or more or less every day, and I update them. Sometimes I have to update them because it's a dynamic world. But I always have it on my computer screen, yeah. But not all the time on top because
Right.
it's not really something I want to share with the whole world. And if I'm working in a place with other people, it's not exactly
Of course.
it's very private. So
Sure. Sure. Yeah. I know.
but it is for me a good way of working, and it's a good way of putting things in perspective because it gives me a kind of prioritizing.
Uh-huh.
Where are my priorities? Where do I want, if I've got two things that I have to do at the same time, which one do I choose?
Yeah. Uh,
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You know the what do you call it, the matrix, which one
Mhm.
and it's called importance and the other one called urgency.
Right, right. And
So everything which is urgent and important, you do it straight away.
right,
Everything which is important but not so urgent, you probably take some more time.
right.
And you just forget the things which are not important and not urgent. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
kind of gone.
yeah, he asked a question. Um, if you could do one thing an hour a day in your life that would make it radically different, dramatically different, what would that be? And that was the answer to the stuff that's important but not urgent. That's what goes in that box.
But there's something for 1 hour every day, which is very important and
Yeah,
very urgent. It's
yeah,
meditate. It's
yeah,
give a little time of your head to go into the other stratosphere. I think that is very important. I don't know. For me, this is something that I try to do every day. Spend an hour, or probably not an hour, but at least some time with introspective part and thinking and meditating and probably visualization too. I think that Jimmy, she likes that too, right, Jimmy?
Absolutely. And getting back to what you were saying about prioritizing, what we want to make sure that we make decisions in that what is considered not urgent today will become urgent tomorrow. So the one of the I think uh, management skills that is necessary is the ability to prioritize.
Yeah.
So we can defer stuff, but we don't want to defer stuff so that it then becomes urgent. And yeah, if we do, I think you mentioned also when I first came on that we were talking about what we're going to do this year. And I think uh, the baseline for somebody, maybe starting anew or turning a fresh page in the chapter of our life, is establish a trajectory. And what do I mean by trajectory? So, in the direction something is anticipated to go. So, if we live our life like Ella was talking about, spending 1 hour a day in some sort of self improvement activity, that's going to elevate our trajectory. So those things that would otherwise maybe be urgent today aren't.
Mhm.
And I'm speaking of like health.
Yeah.
Either you spend an hour in the gym a day, or you're going to spend some time in the doctor's office or the hospital or something like that. And so the ability to prioritize and establish a trajectory for ourselves moving forward.
Yeah. We were just talking about the gym, and we were making the quote that you did last week to tell that in the beginning of the year, there's many people in the gym, and then it all of a sudden goes down the slope.
That's right. Because people don't have, it's easy to make a decision. To commit to that decision over a long period of time requires discipline.
Absolutely, and not many people do have that. I know that. That's quite sure. I am trying to I go to LA Fitness here in Pompano Beach, so which is a really nice place actually, to tell you the truth. Um, but I try to go 3 times a week only, so not so much, but enough to get me um okay and a little bit fit. So that's what we do.
So we all have different goals for
Yeah.
ourselves. You know, a lot of people go to the gym just to maintain.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
It's
people go
about
to the gym to excel.
yeah, yeah.
So it all depends on what our
What you
priorities are, and then how, also too, I do know this: a person's commitment to excellence is directly proportional to the quality of life
yeah,
or lifestyle.
absolutely. Absolutely. Bobby, you have anything to add on that?
Well, well, specific to the trans stuff, um, uh, when I was in my first marriage and I was really, just in all the awful junk, trying to deny it and conversion therapy and all of that stuff. Um, I didn't have much of a desire to live, and I didn't take very good care of myself at all. I didn't care about high blood pressure, or I was destroying my lungs with smoking, cholesterol, all of this stuff. Uh, um, each one of my lungs collapsed in my mid 20s,
Wow.
6 months apart. And because I'd started smoking when I was 10 years old, it was like, so what I was saying is, I had no desire to live a long life, and I didn't take care of myself. Uh, but it was like once I got out of there and got determined to just really pursue medical transition and all of that stuff, and that really made a big difference. But um, that's when I finally understood what medical necessity was all about, because it was like, oh my gosh, I finally had a body I wanted to take care of. And it's like, I don't want to go so soon after all. It's like, I really need to start
It feels
taking care
good.
of myself. And, and I just did. I just had to, get real busy and taking care of my teeth and my skin and just doctor's offices and everything, weight, and I just got really determined to. It's like I finally, it was like going from not wanting to live very long and doing all this self-destructive stuff on my body to all of a sudden it's like, oh no, stop it! And, how much of that can you actually get reversed and all. So I've got a long way to go, but um, that was the medical necessity for those surgeries. That's what turned everything around. It's like I finally wasn't in a hurry to check out of here.
I really can understand that because it's a very similar experience that I had too. I was a very big smoker too all my life. I didn't do any. I mean, when I was young, I did a lot of sport. I did 2 hours a day sport. It was I did skiing, basketball, tennis, all kinds of sports when I was very young. But then afterwards, but it was because I was in a school which is
Yeah.
promoting sport. And when I finished and I started smoking as well very early, probably not at 10, but very early. And I was a big smoker, and I smoked all my life. And some years ago when I started to transition, I told myself, now it's over with smoking because I want to go through this transition, and with smoking, and taking hormones, it's particularly dangerous.
Yeah.
And you know what? I gave up smoking from day to the next.
Wow.
I didn't even need Nicorette or anything like that. I just stopped it like that. Poof.
Yeah.
And I never smoked again.
Wow. That's
And
great.
it has been many, many years. So, and I feel very happy, and my lungs are pretty good. And I don't, thank God I didn't have too much problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been quite, it's very similar
Mhm.
reaction about, um, feeling my body and much more than before, and being happy with myself.
The estrogen and progesterone. I had been being treated for for clinical depression for like there in the 90s. I was just really getting obvious, and then I got started treating with antidepressants and everything. But boy, the hormones. So for me, they did what I always thought antidepressants would do, but they never did. And so that just really made a huge difference in how I think.
Yeah.
And I just really liked it. I was like, oh yeah, I sort of like being with myself for a change. And uh, so it was like the antidepressants didn't do anything compared to what estrogen did for me, anyhow. So,
Yeah.
So what I think I'm hearing is I've known of a few people in my life that have had a great awakening at some point in their life.
mhm.
And I think it's the realization that we're in a collision course with something not good.
Yeah.
And um, I know of several middle-aged folks that have made life-altering lifestyle changes.
Mhm.
And it's whether it's lose weight, exercise, quit smoking, quit drinking, transition, get another job, something that, and all these, I think all these desires have remained latent. And I know all of us are kind of similar where in my case, I always knew something was up, but could never put my finger on it.
Mhm.
And the universe arranged itself in such a way that I was able to, the light bulb went off.
Mhm.
And so I'm glad to hear these awakening moments in our lives
Yeah.
where it's dramatic.
Mhm.
If you're smoking all these cigarettes and boom, you just quit just like that.
Yeah.
That is an example of a commitment to achieve the vision that we have in our mind for ourselves.
Mhm.
That vision is more powerful than like nicotine or you
Exactly.
know
Yeah.
food or whatever.
Yeah.
It requires, and then I think the desire to become the person that we uh, inherently are, uh, the discipline is then maybe replaced with desire.
Mhm.
There's a saying, don't trade what you want for what you want now. Don't trade what you want for what you want now. And so that requires some sacrifice and some discipline and some mental clarity and vision for ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, it's clear. It's absolutely clear. Yeah. But I mean, you have to have the vision. You have to have the force to go forward and to try to embrace what you think is right for you. And that is so important.
Mhm.
And talking about blessings, today I had a couple of blessings, which I don't know where they came from, but they were really great. I mean, sometimes it's so funny. I had to, I mean, I've got an exhibition the end of the month. I have to organize a couple of things. And someone made a mistake and sent me something beforehand, but it just fit just perfectly, you know? So you just go like that and say, wow. Thank you, God. That is exactly what it should have happened from the beginning. And, those moments are really nice. I think they're really nice. Sometimes it's small things like today, but it's more than small things. But it worked so absolutely perfect, you know? And then in those moments, you just have to say, count your blessings because somewhere someone is organizing it and it is organizing it in a good and positive way all
Mhm.
all the time.
Oh, well, well, let me ask you this because earlier you mentioned living alone and being quite happy with living alone and all the benefits and so forth. Um, and there have been some times in my life where I wasn't married. It's not many, but it's been a few. And um, uh, I um, you know, that this last period of being alone, though, losing the love of my life to this, you know, terrible cancer thing, and then all
Sure.
that grieving and mourning and depression and all of that stuff. And it's like kind of coming back to the real world and get the zest, because you know it's like you're you're living alone, but it's not a black hole like what I've been in, and so it's like the self discipline to get back out of there, you know, back to where the thing is, because it's like you know it's you can take what you can of that person forward with you, but it's you know it's like you can't stay in this place stuck here forever. So.
You know, when you have, I mean, I have had many affairs and many friends and many and people I was married with, but when you are in a relationship, they usually are, I mean, a love relationship, there are usually three phases, right? The phase of being completely in love,
Mhm.
which is usually a short phase, and then it's a phase of having the pleasure of being with someone else. And that is a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous phase, which can last decades. In many people, it lasts decades. It's not exactly you know the fiery love, but it's something that you are enjoying because you are your with your partner, you're enjoying the people. And unfortunately, there's the third phase, and the third phase it's when you know both go against each other.
Mhm.
And that phase is terrible. That phase is really terrible. And I suppose with my last marriage, we had a very great marriage. We had 25 years together. We had one kid together. Um, we lived in what one, two, three, four countries, four different countries. It was absolutely incredible, and we had a really great time. And let's say the fighting phase was only about 6 months or 8 months old,
Oh,
but it was tough. It was really tough. It was really tough.
yeah.
You know, 25 years to
So
get,
then you had a hole to climb out of that get here.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we decided to divorce and everybody went its own way. Um, but you know, that's life. But you know, it's incredible that 25 years can end with difficult 6 months. It's something
Mhm.
which is for me still unbelievable, but I suppose that's karma as well. So something else had to come. I don't know. No, but my and you know I've got really very quite good relationships, mostly with my first wife. So,
Mhm. Uh, uh,
she- but
yeah.
no, I'm not really alone because I've got three kids, I've got one grandchild, I've got lots of friends. So, you know, it's not that I am alone. It's I just don't live with anybody. So, you
right.
know.
Yeah, got it. So, and when Jimmy, have you ever like been in a dark place for whatever life threw at you at the time and then found your way back out?
Sure,
Yeah. Uh,
sure. Um, that's part of life. It's the ups and downs and the ins and outs.
uh,
I think we cannot be in a light place unless we've been in a dark place.
Yeah.
And so part of the I don't think a person can become enlightened unless they've touched darkness in one way or another.
Yeah.
And because that gives that again, like we spoke about last week, that all things in the universe are in balance. You know, you can't experience enlightenment unless you experience darkness.
Yeah.
And darkness comes in many different ways.
Unfortunately,
Um,
yeah.
and there's a varying degrees of the fulfillment of life too.
Yeah.
I know that uh, you know I had some medical stuff going down a couple months ago, and uh, I wasn't in a dark place, but I didn't feel like that I was in my premium existence.
hmm.
You know, and then I'm getting some other work done. I'm getting a right hip replacement actually 5 weeks from today. So the recovery from that's going to be challenging. And again, all of us have I'm going to use the word crutch. All of us have something in our life that provides stability. And for me, it's fitness. And I remember I would tell people, you can burn my house down, you can steal my car, but don't mess with my daughter, my dog, or my gym membership. And I said that jokingly, but it's so true. Fitness provides tremendous stability, and also too, you have to realize that when you train hard, when you train beyond so that you're uncomfortable, your body releases endorphins, and so you're in a natural, like a runner's high kind of thing. And so to experience that for prolonged periods of time every day, it stabilizes the chemicals in your mind and in your body. And then all of a sudden that's taken away from, I had surgery on my right hand to get rid of what's known as trigger finger. That took some while. I had some other issues I was working through, but the hip is going to be a big one for me because my legs are probably my best body part. And I'm told that I'll be able to, squat heavy and so on, but it's going to take time for the bone to grow around the prosthetic. So but you just have to realize there's a movie called The Mask where the kid's got a deformity in his face, and it's excellent movie. There's some lessons to be learned there. And I remember the kid was saying one time, what stuck? The sun shining on my face. What's beautiful? The sun shining on my face. So I never forgot that line in that movie, and it's true. It's no matter what our position. I was talking to someone on the phone earlier today that is in the hospital with some problems, and I'm at the traffic light, and there's a guy in a wheelchair with no legs with a tin cup. So the kid was complaining to his mom that he had no shoes until he saw a kid that had no feet. So keep things real, people. Keep things real.
Yeah. Absolutely. But everything is in it's its own balance, and everybody's got its karma, I think. So
that's why I think some of your best guidance counselors, some of your best sponsors in AA and so on have been to hell and back.
Yeah.
They've been to hell and back. And I'm tearing up now. Adversity builds character. And in the absence of struggle, humans flounder. And I think that's a big problem with the world today, is that if you don't want to work, you don't have to. And you don't even got to go to your mailbox to get your welfare check. It'll be electronically deposited into your account. And then Instacart will deliver your groceries. So we've taken through technology and sophistication of our society, we've taken away the struggle. And there's a whole generation of folks that don't have any backbone. You look at World War, my father-in-law and my dad were in World War II. Just another generation. The Great Depression and all that, it taught people you don't throw food away. You go to a restaurant now and you walk by a table that's empty, half the food's still on the plate. I would never throw food away, because the day will come that we'll be wishing that we had those scraps that we threw away.
Many places that are trying, restaurants and mostly supermarkets, they're giving the old food to people which need it, you know. So yeah. Unfortunately, in this beautiful country of ours, we do have quite a lot of people which they've got difficulty put food on the plate, you know.
Mhm.
But what you want to do? So, well, you know, try to help your neighbors and share a little bit. So I try to do my portion of it too.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, but you know, we should learn a lot from, because I mean, our biggest source of learning is always yourself. And I mean, not learning from you know, from university or from other scholars and everything, but your feelings, what you go through, that is where you learn from yourself. Of course, you learn a lot from the environment and from schools and universities and everything, because this is a place for learning, but it's another type of learning. It's not about yourself. But you know, you have to let your ears be open to that learning. You
mhm.
cannot close them.
Yeah.
And some of us do close it because they don't want to believe in themselves, actually.
Mhm.
So you should always have an open mind and an open spirit to learn more, to be, you know, in a higher kind of place. So that is my my 5 cents of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we won all of that without any effort, and that's the problem. Dadgummit, I've got to take some action now. So it's like, oh well, gotta get out of the land of good intentions and work now. So
Yeah. Yeah, right now we are living in a very cruel world, very terrible world, very difficult world, you know. Yeah, you should not let yourself being hit by that world, because part of the world is in war, and more war than ever for a long time.
yeah.
But on the other side, we have to respect that this is happening, and we have to acknowledge it, you know. There's
Mhm.
not much we can do about it anyway, at least as individual people. So
So this is how I look at things sometimes, in that out of the total surface of the planet, maybe 3%, 4% of the total land mass of the planet is experiencing war. So that means the other 95% isn't.
yeah.
And I think there's always been conflicts and uprisings and chaos, but it hasn't been pumped into our living rooms 24/7 on 100 different channels. And you know, again, I think we spoke about this. You know, back in the day of the Huntley Brinkley report, the whole world news was given to you in 30 minutes with commercials. Now,
It's the whole.
everyone, someone robs someone in Bangladesh with a gun, and someone films it with a video on their phone. It's broadcast worldwide, and so that one negative or that one dark incident is now um, relayed across the globe a million times over. And so every person that views that act of violence is emitting an emotion which changes the frequency of the planet.
Mhm.
And so that's the dilemma we're in. And it's, you know, and another thing, you know, somebody saves somebody from a drowning or something, and that's filmed, so that produces the opposite effect. It's a higher vibration feeling. But all this negative stuff going on, everyone's filming everything. And what I get is, you know, someone's being attacked or mugged. No one tries to help the victim, they just break out their phone and film it. And so I'm like, what's up with that?
They get the attention of it, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that is something which has been quite actually lately very extreme, because some people are only looking for attention and not necessarily for resolution. And it is a big issue. And attention mainly in social media has become so important for so many people. They just tell anything just to get attention, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy. It's really crazy, you know. Oh well, anyway.
It's about 10 till, isn't it, Ella?
Sorry?
It's about 10 minutes. What we've been
Yeah,
on?
it's about 5 minutes. But yeah, we should stop soon. No, but it's really crazy what is going in that respect. I remember when I was young, the news that you had were never, it was always a third party news. And then I think in the 70s they started to have this live news where you actually were in the scene of the crime, you know, kind of.
Right.
And that changed the world so dramatic.
Oh,
So
yeah, it had newsreels in the movie theaters.
yeah, it was in the beginning, there was even on television, it was someone reading the news, which was someone which was, you know, it was not live, it was something that happened in the past. Now it's the present, you know. And probably soon with artificial intelligence, it's going to be the future. You never know. But it's really changed everything. And I used to work for one of the richest person in Switzerland, Mr. Nicolas Hayek, and for me one of the most impressive persons in the 90s. And I was a consultant there. And he always used to say, never forget what's in the newspapers. It's something that the newspapers want to sell the newspaper with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been like that, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a way to get more readers, more sales.
Yeah. And if it bleeds, it leads. You know, it was what Jimmy was talking there. ABC, this was a long time ago, tried to pilot nothing but a good news channel. It was just all the stories were uplifting, positive, good news. And it didn't last but a few months because nobody wanted to watch it. They watched to see what is different, what has changed in my world. You know, what do I need to be upset about? And anyhow, just nobody wants to watch good news. You know?
It's true. It's true. Okay, let's go to the last round. We have to stop soon. Any last comments, Jimmy?
No, just consciously think about the trajectory of our life, because a lot of times the biggest, it's the small daily habits. It's our small cumulative daily habits that develop our trajectory.
Mhm.
So be conscious of the small decisions that we make during the day as well as the big ones.
Yeah.
And I love you all. Maybe when we're done and we're off the air, we can chat about what we're going to do with Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Oh, you know, I'm just so grateful to know you all and hear so many stories. And you know, I'm just thinking about the heroes, really, the people I know that have done and been in really bad places and have done things that nobody ever imagined that they would be able to accomplish. And you know, I just um, you know, I guess challenge everybody to just be 1% better than you were yesterday. And things seem to take care of themselves if you do that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is really interesting because I agree with you. And not only that, but the world moves in so mysterious ways.
Yeah.
You always get what you wanted, but you never know when. So it's always a nice thing that all of a sudden something just materializes and realizes the way that you wanted to go through. Sometimes it's not so easy and you have to be patient, but patience probably for many of us not exactly the big thing.
Mhm.
But believe in life, believe that you're gonna, and try to materialize what you want. It's not that you have to live in the things that you don't have, but I mean, cherish the things that you have. That's absolutely for sure. But don't forget dreaming. Dreaming is something beautiful, and listen to yourself because you are the source of everything which is important in life
Mhm.
for you. Anyway, bye everybody.
Bye.
See you next week.
Namaste.
We'll be
Okay.
we will be back. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Let's see. Then,
So we are not live anymore.
okay.
Uh, so you want